Hey YouTube, Jessica here. So it has been a little while since we have updated y'all on our IVF journey, but things are moving right along. I think last time we recorded, my husband was in town visiting, and we had just had his sperm frozen. So we did that. We froze his sperm. We're not sure if he's going to be able to come back out for the actual egg retrieval. So we wanted to at least have a backup plan. And then if he does come out, then we don't need the frozen sperm. But at least we have it in case he can't. So the next day, we had our IVF consultation appointment. And we got our timeline. We're doing the antagonist protocol, which basically, from what I understand, is what they call the birth control protocol. So you take birth control for like 2.5 weeks. So I'm just finishing up week 2. Today is the first day of week 3, or tonight will be. So I go until today's Thursday. So I take birth control until Sunday. Then Monday I go in for my baseline ultrasound. So we'll do that, and I think there's some blood work they do, and then next week we start our stims or our injections. So yeah, it's like it's getting real. It's starting. It's kind of crazy. I'm like so nervous and so excited. The dates then for our egg retrieval, they gave us the date, but then it's like plus or minus 2 days, depending on how my body responds to all of the injections and the drugs. But for sure by September 12th, today is the 12th of August, I think. So in exactly 1 month from now, we'll find out if we're pregnant or not. So that scares the crap out of me. It's like it'll all be over for better or worse in a month. And then it'll either be just starting or we'll be starting a new round. So, yeah, things are heating up and getting real. I had a medication scare last week. Well, like a insurance scare. So I work for Starbucks, and I was under the impression they have IVF coverage up to $15,000 for a lifetime max. So basically, I figure with my Starbucks insurance, I have one round, or almost a whole round covered. Well, the pharmacy for all of my meds called me, and they're like, "Oh, we got your medication order from the doctor, and we just wanted to go over the cost with you." And I was like, "Okay," fully expecting them to say, maybe a copay or a couple $100 or something. She's like, "So none of this is covered by your insurance, and so it's gonna be like $4,000." And guys, my jaw just hit the floor. Like, I wanted to just bust out crying. I was like, I don't understand. I thought I have IVF coverage. And the lady was like, yeah, you have IVF coverage, but the medications aren't covered. And I was like, just thinking to myself, there's no way I can come up with $4,500, like in a week. My husband and I don't do debt at all. So it's not like we can just go get a credit card and put $4,500 on a credit card. I happened to be down at my dad's office when the lady called, and so he overheard my conversation with the pharmacy lady, and he's like, "You should call your insurance company, and find out why it's not being covered, or find out if it's just a mistake." So I called the insurance company, and I was like, I thought I had IVF like full coverage. I'm paying the most expensive premium out of my paycheck because I thought it covered everything. And the lady's like, "Yeah, you have medication coverage." And I was just like, "Well, why the hell was it, did the pharmacy tell me no?" So she looked it up, and she's like, "Oh, they tried billing it this way, but they just have to bill it another way." So she's like, "I'll call them and explain to them how they have to bill it." So I guess they were trying to bill it under pharmaceutical, and it had to be billed under medical. I don't know. it all seems very stupid to me because it's the same medications, whether you bill it one way or another. It's the exact same thing. So I don't understand why one way is covered and one way is not. But so then my insurance lady called me back and said, I explained it to them, so you need to call them and like confirm some details or whatever. So now I'm thinking, okay, it's all covered. So I call back the pharmacy and I get this guy and he's like, no, we just don't take your insurance. So sorry. Kind of like sucks for you. And I was like, well, what do you mean you don't take my insurance? I just talked to the insurance people and they said it was covered. And he's like, well, yeah, it's covered with the pharmacy that takes them, but we don't take them. So then I'm like, well. So I hung up with him and my dad's like, call them back and find out, like talk to somebody else and see. Because the first time the lady from the pharmacy called, she didn't say anything about them not taking my insurance. She said it wasn't covered under my insurance. So I called back and talked to a third person. And they're like, well, we don't take your insurance, but our sister company does. So then she couldn't pass off my paperwork to the sister company because they were still trying to process it. So she's like, give them till tomorrow and I'll call you and let you know once it's transferred over. So I waited the next day. And the whole time I'm panicking, thinking, am I going to have to pay $4,500? Am I not? Am I even going to have meds to take? So the next day, the lady called me back from the pharmacy company. And she's like, okay, I transferred all your paperwork and everything over to the sister company that definitely takes your insurance. And they'll be calling you. So they didn't call and they didn't call and they didn't call. I think 2 days went by. So I called them. And I said, I just want to check on my order. I need to make sure that A, it's covered, and B, I will have the meds in time. So they're like, well, yeah, we have it like 90% done. But I guess one of the medications wasn't covered. And it was going to be a couple grand just for that one medication. So they had called my doctor to see if they could use the substitute or like the alternative brand or whatever. So they were waiting to hear back from my doctor. So they still couldn't tell me how much it would be, or anything. So I'm still on pins and needles, thinking I'm going to have to pay thousands or I'm not. I don't know what's going on. If I have to come up with the, thousands of dollars now, we're probably going to have to wait a few months, to front the money. So I'm so anxious and I just want them to call me back. So finally, the day before yesterday, the lady calls me and she's like, oh, your order's ready. And we can schedule delivery. And I was like, okay, but let's go over the costs before, because if it's $4,000, there's no point in scheduling delivery. She's like, no, everything is covered 100%, except one medication. I had a $40 copay. So I gave her my debit card number over the phone and paid that $40. And she's like, we can ship it out to you tomorrow. So it would be there the next day. I said, perfect. It made my day. I was sitting in my car after work when she called. And I just wanted to scream with happiness because it meant we could proceed. It meant I didn't have to stress about coming up with the $4,500. And I guess all in all, it was $6,600 that was billed towards my $15,000 lifetime max with my insurance. So I don't know if it was more expensive because it went through insurance and if the $4,500 originally that was quoted to me, if that was, if somebody's paying cash. I don't know. It doesn't matter. What matters is the meds are coming and I only paid $40. So they were supposed to be here today and it's signature required. So between my mom and I, we tag teamed it and somebody waited all day long. And they didn't give me a tracking number or anything. So I didn't know if it was coming FedEx, UPS, whatever. They just said, we'll overnight it to you. So I called the pharmacy company. It was 3:30 this afternoon because they said I should have it by noon today. And I didn't. So I called them and I'm like, can I have a tracking number, or something to look it up? So she gave me the tracking number and I guess there was some mechanical error. So something wrong with the truck or something like that. So they're delayed until tomorrow. So then that raises the question, they're refrigerated meds, so they're shipped like with an ice pack. So I don't know if when they come tomorrow, if they'll still be okay. The lady said to call the pharmacy as soon as I get them, and the pharmacist will walk me through like visually inspecting the meds um, to see if they're still okay. But I don't know. I'm just like, wait. When I order something stupid from Amazon, it comes like the very next day. And it's usually something I don't even really need. When I have like $6,000 worth of very super important medications coming that are supposed to be overnighted, they get delayed. Like, I feel like it's just Murphy's Law. But at least they're on their way. They should be here tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll all be okay. And yeah, the other bummer is I work tomorrow until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So my mom offered to stay home and wait for my meds. And then I'll rush home right after work. And hopefully they'll be there by then. Whew. So that's our update. That's where we stand. I don't actually need the meds till like next week, Wednesday. But they said you should have them like a week before at least. We still have to watch the videos on how to do all of the injections, like the how-to videos. But yeah, so one of the things when we were at our IVF consultation appointment, the coordinator asked me, she's like, now for the progesterone, you can take it in a shot or as a suppository. And I have heard horror stories about the progesterone and oil shots. Like, I've heard they're super duper painful. I think those are the ones that you have to do in the butt. So I figure I'm already going to be in pain. I'm already going to be doing enough shots. So I was like, well, are the suppositories just as good? And she's like, yeah, they're right on par. I was like, I will take suppositories then. So we're going to have progesterone suppositories and the rest will be shots. So hopefully tomorrow I will be able to go through all my medications and kind of get sorted and get ready to start all the craziness next week. But yeah, so I've been on birth control for the past 2 weeks. Nothing exciting there. The first couple days, I did not feel well at all. I had horrible stomach cramps. I was trying to explain it to my husband. I said it felt like that character, is it Wolverine? The one he has like I can't show you, but he has like the blades that come out of in between his fingers. Is that, I don't know who that is, but that guy, where he can just like go like that and he has, the big long foot long blades. I felt like that guy had his blades out and had sucker punched me in the stomach. So I felt like there was like 4 almost like steak knives going into my stomach. And like every other minute, they would just twist them slightly. So that way the knife, like the serrated knife that was in my stomach, would just be twisting so slightly. And it was like, it felt so bad. Like, it hurt to go to work. It hurt to stand. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the birth control, or what. Because they're obviously not period cramps because this was after my period. So I don't know what was going on. But those lasted maybe like 4 days. And then I think I just got used to the birth control. And now I'm fine. It doesn't affect me like at all, really. I've been having a lot of headaches lately, but I don't know if that's due to the birth control or just not really having a lot of caffeine. I don't know. But yeah, so at night I take birth control. I take my prenatals. I take COQ10 and I give myself an insulin shot. So that is that. Tim is back in Arkansas, so he may or may not come out for my retrieval. Most likely not. It's looking like he won't be able to get off work. But, so at least that's why we have the frozen sperm. So yeah. All right. I won't take up any more time, but that's where we are. And hopefully I'll talk to y'all tomorrow with medications in my hands. All right. Have a good night. Sorry for the darkness of tonight, but it is late. It's like 9 o'clock at night and I'm ready for bed. So have a good night, guys. Bye.